考古工作的阶段性重大成果。按照国家文物局考古中国重大项目的管理要求，三星堆遗址祭祀区考古工作阶段性进展及主要成果的新闻宣传和电视网络直播有关方案已报送国家文物局批准。根据相关指示精神，本次关于三星堆遗址祭祀区考古工作阶段性进展及主要成果的宣传报道，要坚持正确历史观，严把专业观、表述观、文字观，不突出奇幻、神秘等内容，博人眼球，正面阐释好、传播好三星堆文化重要价值，引导公众充分认知中华文明多元一体的发展脉络。同时，宣传报道期间，请注意文物及财产安全，注重疫情防控，确保宣传报道人员和考古发掘人员的健康安全。本次宣传报道的总体思路和重点是：三星堆遗址祭祀区考古新发现与新成果，中国特色、中国风格、中国气派考古学的重要举措。
And also, for the latest progress of the archaeological excavation, we will also follow the spirit from the National Bureau of the Archaeology. We will give you the full picture of the latest progress. And also to demonstrate the Chinese characteristics in the excavation work. And today we have invited a number of experts from the Sichuan Institute of Archaeology to give you the latest update. We also have the chief engineer from the Research Institute of the Sichuan Archaeology Center. And also we have the team leader from the Sanxingdui excavation team. Also we have Mr. Ran Hongling from the head of the Sanxingdui Research Institute. So I'm the deputy head of the Sichuan Institute of Archaeology. So we have 4 items in today's press briefing. First, we will invite Mr. Ran Hongling to brief us the latest progress in the archaeological excavation at Sanxingdui site. Friends from the media, good morning. So right now, on behalf of the Sanxingdui sacrificial excavation team, I will brief you the latest progress in the archaeological excavation at Sanxingdui site. Also, I will release some of the achievements we have made in the past few months. So right now, the excavation work is coming to an end. So basically, it is a summary of our work of the excavation. We will talk about every aspect of the excavation. For some of the information, maybe I have released in the past. First, I will give you an overview of the excavation. For Sanxingdui site, we have conducted many times of the excavation, and the excavation area is above over 90,000 square meters. With many years of efforts, I believe we are very clear about the current situation of the Sanxingdui site. For example, we understand the cluster display layout and the sacrificial pit's location. So since 2019, we will roll out a new round of the excavation work at the Sanxingdui site. So we will focus on 2 aspects for the new development and progress of the archaeological excavations. In 1986, we are conducting a number of the excavation for the sacrificial pit 1 and 2, which also provide a lot of proof for the future excavation. In 1986, we have done a rescue type of the excavation. There are some issues that are pending for resolve. For example, at that time, we are not sure whether we have pit number 3 or other pits nearby pit number 1 and 2. That's why we conducted the new round of the excavation after 1986. So the excavation work is conducted in the area near Mamuhe River. In 2010, we have already excavated the area over 880 square meters. And also we have laid out new areas of shelters for the excavation. So until now, we have already excavated over 954 square meters. In 2022, we have identified the sacrificial area for Sanxingdui site. Between 2021 to 2022, we have continued our work in the archaeological excavation. You could refer to the pictures on the screen. Also, we have made a lot of achievements for the excavation. For example, we further clarified the area for the sacrificial area of the Sanxingdui site. In 2021, we have identified the exact location of pit number 1 to pit number 8. And also, we found the ruins of architecture in the excavation site. Built on our experience on 2020, we continue to discover the ruins of the architecture in 2021. So for the ruins of the architecture, the size is about 86 square meters. It is not a large size. However, the structure is quite complicated. It is different than regular deconstruction sites. And also, alongside the architecture, we also found small size of the architecture. We speculated that for the small size architecture, altogether they have formed a cluster of the architecture in the Sanxingdui site, just like a cluster of the palace. In 2020, with the excavation work, we further clarified the layout of the Sanxingdui ruin site, and also we understand the layout and the orientation of the architecture. So during our work in 2021 and 2022, we further understand the sacrificial area. For example, we are able to identify the border of the eastern side, and also we are able to find out the southern border of the Sanxingdui site. With our work, we further identify the location of the sacrificial area of Sanxingdui site. On top of our discovery of the sacrificial pits, we are able to identify some of the smaller size of the sacrificial pits. You could see some of the goldware on top of these sacrificial pits, and also we are able to identify some of the rectangular sacrificial pits. So except for the 8 pits we discovered in the past decades, we also find out a number of small-sized sacrificial pits. And also we have to make sure that we could protect all of those sacrificial pits. We're not able, right now we're not going to discover some of the smaller size sacrificial pits. And in the future, maybe we will expect more smaller size of the pits will be discovered. But still, if we continue to dig out further of the pits, you could see we're able to see some of the pieces of the goldware. So we are pretty sure that for some of these pits, they're also very important. We could see some of the elephant tusk, and also we are able to find out some of the jade tablets, the stone tigers, and the Nuning figure. So in the past, we only find all of these kind of objects in the Jinsha or the Yingxu ruins. So we are quite sure that for all of these objects we discovered, they are served as the sacrificial vessels in the past. And also on the surface, which is the layer 5 of the surface, in the sacrificial pits, we also find out some smaller pits. So we are able to find some of the pits alongside the trench. Maybe you cannot see that very clearly, but actually we are able to identify 4 intact elephant tusks, and some of these elephant tusks were burned. So we think in this area, maybe there's another sacrificial pit. There are many kinds of these elephant tusks in the trench. And also we're able to find some of the intact jadeware. That said, we could speculate that for some of these sacrificial areas, they could be dated back to thousands of years ago. On top of those 8 major sacrificial pits, there were many smaller sizes of the sacrificial pits. Even though we are not able to track the history right now, but we could see for some of these places, there used to be the sacrificial area at the Sanxingdui site. But we could say for some of these pits, they found in the later stage of the Sanxingdui site. And in the future, we will continue to unveil the history of all of these pits, and also we have to further understand the size and also the location of Sanxingdui site. Now I would like to review some of the major discoveries in pit number 7 and 8. So I believe most of you are very concerned about the discoveries in these 2 pits. But first of all, I would like to give you a brief introduction about these 8 pits. Now you could see for the 8 pits they discovered back in Song Dynasty for number 5, 6, 7, 8. You could see some of the surface layers have been broken. If you look at the diagram, you could understand some of the basic information about the pits. And also for some of the layer of the ashes, you could see it is quite similar. And also for some of the pits, we could see there may be some of the bedding of the earth. In pit number 4 and number 8, below the layer of ashes, we could see some of the sand. And we believe for some of these earths are actually transported from different parts. So for this soil, they may be coming from the sacrificial ceremony. In pit number 3, 4, and 8, above the elephant tusk, you could actually see the layer of ashes. But inside of the layer of ashes, you could find some of the traces of the red clay and the burnt soil. And also you could see some of the bits of the bronzeware. And also now I'm showing you some of the remains of the elephant tusk. This is number 7, pit number 8. All of these pits are actually covered by the elephant tusk, and also the relics are actually buried underneath of all of these tusks. For pit number 7, we have already extracted 1/3 of some of these pieces. In pit number 7, you could only see some of the pieces of the bronzeware or the goldware. So in pit number 7, you could see if you look at the shape of some of the objects, they are quite similar. But we are quite impressed by the item on the right corner. So it looks like a bronzeware. Except for this one, we also discovered different kinds of ware. For example, you could have a dragon-shaped ware. And also we have this grid-style ware. And on the right side, you could see we also have a jade tablet with 3 holes. So all of these we have never discovered in the past. So for pit number 8, we still are discovering what's inside of pit number 8. We are not sure what exactly are buried inside of pit number 8. But actually in pit number 8, we could see there were many different relics, and especially it has a huge amount of the relics buried inside of pit number 8. And also the most important thing we discover is the bronze altar. And the shape is quite unique. We have never seen that before. And also you could see a snake-shaped figure. Also you could see a square shape of the base of the snake-shaped figure. I think for this one it's quite similar with the stone kneeling figure we found in pit number 3. And all of these could also display some of the features of the ancient Gu civilization. Once again, it shows that the ancient Gu civilization is also part of the Chinese civilization. And also you could see, if you look closer to one of the figure, you see in the ear, you have an earpin. And also we have different kinds of patterns of figures. And for some of the figures, they are wearing decorations or earrings. And also we are able to see some of the traces of the civilization from the central plain. You see some of the bronze vessel, which was topped by the mythical creatures. And for some of these figures are commonly seen in different sacrificial pits. If you think of one of the items we found in pit number 3, it actually looked quite similar to these bronze altar we found in pit number 8. So these are actually showing some of the spirit of the ancient Shu people. And also we have some figures with human head and bird's body. And so for pit number 5 and 6, we have already sent out some of the objects we found to the laboratory. So this object was found in pit number 6. So actually we have lifted the whole wooden box and also sent the box to the laboratory. So right now you could see very clear about the surface and the board of the wooden box. So maybe you were able to see some of the red clay and also some of the pattern. Third, I would like to talk to you about the progress in the relic conservation. Now I would like to give the floor to Mr. Xie, and also he will give us more details. So right now I will give you a summary. So altogether, we are able to find out 3,155 relics from the sacrificial pits, and also among which 1,238 are bronzeware, 565 are jade pieces. But right now we are still doing the excavation in pit 7 and pit 8. So maybe in the future we are able to see more relics from the Sanxingdui site. So now I'm showing you some of the relics that we have found from pit number 1 to pit number 8. So now you are able to see some of the vessels, the drinking vessels, the round shape and the rectangular shape. With all those efforts, now you could see for our team, we are able to restore some of the original image of the drinking vessels. For some of these relics, they actually belong to the civilization of the Central Plain. And also we have a complex where, for example, for some of the relics we are showing here, we could see some of the elements of dragon. So most of these items, they actually specialized in the ancient Gu state. So for example, on the right side, we have this bronze figure. And also we have the human figure top with a vessel. I think this one is quite similar to the snake-shaped figure. And also we're able to see some of the bronze figures with hats. And for this one, I think many of you are very familiar with this. Back in 2022, in the Spring Festival Gala, we already presented this item. This is the extra large size of the bronze mask. So now you could see for some of the jade tablets, they also combine with the local characteristics and the external influence. We are able to see some of the jade and stone tablets, and also we are seeing some of the elephant tusk carvings and also some of the silk fabrics. All of these are important findings from this time's excavation. In pit number 7 and 8, I just talked to you about some of the new discoveries. Now I would like to remind you some of the key relics from pit number 8. So for example, this one is a face mask with the gold foil. This one is also very special, we have never seen before. And in pit number 8, we also see some of the bronze figures with dress, and also some of the cover of the bronzeware, and also some of the dragon figures. And also we are paying a lot of attention to the bronze altar we discovered in pit number 8. And this one is also a dragon shape bronzeware. But according to our estimates, this is maybe part of the construction material. So that is my part for the introduction. Thank you. So just now, Mr. Ran gave us some of the updates on the latest progress. So right now, I would like to turn to the chief engineer to talk about more about the archaeological excavation at the Sanxingdui site. So thank you for attending today's press briefing. So today, on behalf of my team, I would like to talk to you more about the conservation of the relics, and also I will release some of the latest progress in the scientific research. So since the start of the archaeological excavation, we work with different disciplines, and we are aiming to achieve several goals for the conservation of the relics. We are also trying to build up a new model to protect the relics. And also, we are making some breakthroughs in the technology to protect the relics. Start from 2019, during the excavation, we are able to come up with a conservation system. I would like to talk about 4 aspects. First is the decision making, and the second is the emergency protection, third, protective protection, and the fourth is the safety guarantee. And actually, we're paying a lot of attention to the second aspect, that is the contingent or emergency protection conservation. So when we talk about this protection system, we actually build a platform and also utilize the multimedia so as to conduct our excavation work. Now I will give you more details about the excavation work, but actually you have seen a lot of the technologies have been used on site. So for in this page, we're talking about how we protect the elephant tusk. We actually taken a lot of precautionary measures to protect the relics. And also we are trying to collect the information as much as possible for some of the relics unleashed. So I would like to give you an example about the protection of the elephant tusk. So at the beginning, when we find out the elephant tusk, we are able to find out, to receive a lot of suggestions for the aspects. For example, for the elephant tusk, it is quite fragile, and also it requires high humidity, and also it requires a very long time for us to clean the elephant tusk. But we have to make sure that for some of these elephant tusks, they could be protected during the excavation and the restoration. But with our efforts, after we unearth some of these elephant tusks, we are trying to maintain the moisture or the humidity of the elephant tusk so that all of these will not be damaged. So for pit number 3 to pit number 8, we are able to extract over 600 elephant tusks. If we look at the conditions, all of these tusks are in good condition, and these have already met our expectation. And during our work, we also pay attention to the protection of these silk fabrics, which are on top of the bronzeware. So back in 2020, we have done a lot of analysis on how to protect the silk fabrics on top of the bronzeware. Especially, we are able to see some of the fabrics to actually unearth from pit number 1 and pit number 2. According to our research, it is quite common that for some of these silk fabrics, they exist on the surface of the bronzeware. So during our extraction and excavation work in pit number 3, we're trying our best to collect the information and to protect the surface of some of the fabrics. Especially, we have unearthed a great amount of the bronze mask and the bronzeware from pit number 3, 4, 7, and 8. Also, we are using a sensing technology. By having this technology, we are able to identify the silk fibering in pit number 6. So the fibering existed on the bottom of the wooden box we unearthed from pit number 6. Also, now I'm showing you some of the items we discovered from pit number 4, number 7, and number 8. Part 3, I would like to talk about some of the scientific research on the layer of ashes. So before we reach down to the layer of objects, we are able to identify a very thick layer of ashes, and also there are many layers in this place. For example, we are able to see some of the bits of the carbon, the charcoals, and the red clay. So right now the expert is showing some of the vertical image of the layer of ashes. So now in pit number 3 and pit number 4, if we look at some of the fabrics, actually you could understand what are some of the composition. Now I would like to talk about some of the conservation of the elephant tusk. And also according to our analysis of some of the isotope of the elephant tusk, we could speculate that for some of these elephants, they belong to the category of the Asian elephants. And also, if we look at the elephant tusk, for some of the tusks, if we want to protect them well, we have to make sure that the humidity is up to certain standards. And this is some of the microstructures of the elephant tusk we found earlier. And also we use the CT scan and try to understand the internal structure and also the penetration rates of the tusk. And also from this image you could see if the humidity is not enough, and then some of these elephant tusks will be damaged. And in the end, it will turn into residues. And also we are trying to conduct some of the analysis of the earth that have been collected from the sacrificial pit. We also done a lot of analysis for the microorganism of some of the earth. And also we are trying to do a lot of scientific research for some of the golden ware that has been unearthed from the pits. We are trying to understand the structure of the objects and also the casting technique that have been used to make some of these figures and the relics. For example, for the bronzeware, you could see there were many typical casting techniques have been used.
从这个质化双，从它的一个这个18盎司方或者是16华双这个比例来看，这个珊瑚的比例的这个比值来看，它也是比较符合这个野猪和黄油这个动物这个脂肪分解。
So also right now we are showing you a table to analyze some of the fat acids. Especially, we have done a lot of analysis on the earth and some of the fabrics that have the sticking to some of the elephant tusk, bronzeware, and the wooden box. So based on our studies, we could see after the disposition of the animal fat, we still can see some of the traces of the animal fat that have been sticking to the surface of some of these objects. And the next part, I would like to talk about the innovation in the excavation methods. For example, in the excavation shelter, we have installed many systems to monitor the air quality and also the environment of the excavation site. And also we are able to see some of the real-time information that have been uploaded from the excavation shelter. We are able to develop a multifunctional archaeological operational system. All of these will help us to modernize the archaeological discoveries. So, for example, in some of the sacrificial pits, we are able to develop some of the multifunctional platform to facilitate with the excavation work. For example, we have this manned platform to help with the digging work. So now you're able to see some of the photos and the pictures of the equipment and the facilities we have put in place in the excavation shelter. In general, we have improved some of the mindset and the philosophy in the excavation. And also we are paying a lot of attention for the protection and the conservation of the relics. We have made a lot of innovations in our philosophies and the models. So we are able to roll out this multidiscipline cooperation model, and this will also improve the efficiency of the excavation work. I would say this is a breakthrough in the archaeological work. And also we have made a lot of innovation in the protection technology. Just as I said, for example, for the extraction and the cleaning of the relics, we have made a lot of improvements so as to better protect the relics. And also right now we are able to process 10 patents. And also we are able to receive 12 approved innovative methods. Also, by taking this opportunity, I would like to give you an introduction about our next step work. For the conservation work, right now we have cleaned 77 bronzeware, 120 jadeware, 44 goldware, and 678 elephant tusks. If you just look at the numbers, well, maybe it is not a huge amount. However, for our conservation work, we have been strictly abide by the requirements and standards to protect some of these relics. We strictly abide by the requirements and the guidelines. And most of our work have been done on site. So first we're paying attention to the on-site protection and the conservation. And second, after we extract all of these objects, we will clean some of these objects in the laboratory. And also we will conduct some of the studies and the observation of some of the relics. However, for this year, most of our efforts have been made on the on-site conservation. So in the later part of this year, we will continue to clean some of the objects unearthed from the sacrificial pits. So actually what we have done most is for the protection of the elephant tusk, especially for the 678 tusks we have been extracted from pit number 8. We have already started our procedures to conserve the elephant tusk. And the next stage, we will continue the consolidation process for some of these elephant tusks. And also, as we just mentioned, that we also excavated some of the figures, for example, the stone kneeling figures and other bronze masks, etc. We will also want to use some of our existing technology, for example, the reinforcement models, to restore the original look for some of these items. And with 1 year of hard work, we are able to formulate a number of guidelines, for example, the on-site sampling and management guideline, and the relic conservation and the protection guideline. And according to the instructions released by the National Bureau of Cultural Relics, and this year, we will continue to conduct the conservation and the restoration work to 3,637 objects that have been unearthed from pit number 3 to pit number 8. So, for example, we will observe the changes on the surface of some of these objects, and also we are trying our best to analyze the composition of the elements that have been surfaced on some of these unearthed objects. And also we are trying to understand the properties and the composition and the color status of some of these cultural relics. So for some of these are actually our key tasks for this year. So for the excavation work, right now we are coming to the last stage. And also we are conducting the new round of the excavation for about 2 years. By taking this opportunity, I would like to extend my gratitude to those who have shown strong support to our work. And also I would like to thank you for providing advices and suggestions to us. And also I would like to thank the media for your excellent coverage about the excavation work. So thank you for your support and the encouragement. So on behalf of my team, I would like to say a big thank you to you all. And also I hope in the future you could continue to support our archaeological excavation work as well as the conservation work of the cultural relics. Also, I would like to send out an invitation. So if you are interested, you could join us for the conservation work. I believe with joint efforts, we are able to restore all of these archaeological cultural relics, and also we are able to preserve the values of all of these cultural relics, and we are able to make more contribution in the archaeology. Thank you. Yes, indeed, it takes a long time for us to preserve all of these archaeological discoveries. So I believe with joint efforts and future efforts, I believe we will make more achievements. So right now, I would like to invite the expert from the Sanxingdui site, and also he will tell us more about the coverage plan.
现在我向大家通报一下这次直播的这个宣传的报道方案。
Good morning. Right now, I would like to give you more information about the coverage of the archaeological excavation at Sanxingdui site. The China Media Group So from June the 14th to June the 16th, it will release a special program on the latest progress in archaeological excavation at the Sanxingdui site. And 2 studios will be set up in the Sanxingdui excavation shelter. And also it will roll out the digital interactive studio. And so for the audience, they're able to see the latest progress in the archaeological excavation at Sanxingdui site. They're also able to see some of the details of the relics, so they're able to understand the charm that have been dated back to 3,200 years ago. So since September last year, we have discovered a number of new cultural relics. So right now, as we're able to unearth more new relics, for example, we're able to see the great bronzeware, and also we're able to discover the stone kneeling figure. All of these new cultural relics will be broadcasted by China Media Group. And also we will give you more information about all of these, and also we will release some of the excavation details, and also we will give you more information about the history of the sacrificial pits and unveil more mystery from the ancient Shu state. By having all of this information available to you, we are able to unveil the charm of the civilization of China as well as the Sanxingdui site. So in last year, actually, CMG have already launched a number of live broadcasts, and also they launched like 2 special programs to discover and talk about the latest progress in the archaeological excavation. They have used different channels to bring the live footage and the pictures to our audience, and it revealed the progress in the archaeological excavation, and also it gave the history to the audience, and also educate the audience about the history of the Sanxingdui site. According to the broadcasting plan, there will be 9 major contents for the broadcast. For example, the first, we will understand the excavation and also the extraction for pit number 7 and 8, and also we will able to see some of the laboratory progress for items from pit number 4 and 5. And also we are able to see some of the casting techniques from the bronzeware, and also we are able to see some of the analysis of the silk fabrics. And 5, we are able to understand some of the situation of the ancient Shu state, and we are trying to give you more knowledge about the formation of the sacrificial pits. And also we will unveil the mystery of the items inside of the wooden box that have been unearthed from pit number 6. Please stay tuned with China Media Group so that you could understand what happens in the archaeological excavation and Sanxingdui site and understand more stories about China. So just now, the 3 experts have given us a lot of information about the latest progress in the archaeological excavation at Sanxingdui site. And also, they give us some of the knowledge about the broadcasting plan. So right now is the Q&A session. For the media friends, if you have any questions, please raise your hand. Any questions?
就是想了解一下那个，还是大家比较关注这个7、8号坑的一个开掘的情况吧，因为刚才那个就是。
I believe many people are concerning about the new discoveries in pit number 7 and pit number 8. And just now, you have gave us a general introduction about the cultural relics in pit number 7 and 8. So now I would like to understand the next steps for the archaeological excavation at pit number 7 and 8. I would like to turn over to Mr. Ran Hongying to answer your question. Thank you for your question. And just now, I've said for pit number 7 and pit number 8, we have actually coming to the extraction stage. According to the number of cultural relics buried inside of the pit number 7 and 8, in the future, we will continue to follow our preset plan, especially for our extraction plan. And also, we will continue to collect the information about the cultural relics buried in pit number 7 and 8. And then we will extract some of these items one by one. It is estimated that by October, we will complete the on-site work. And the latest point is the Spring Festival next year. By then, we will have all the cultural relics unearthed from pit number 7 and 8. In 2021 and 2022, for these past 2 years, actually, we are trying to fulfill some of the missions assigned by the National Bureau of Archaeology and the Cultural Relics. As I said, right now we are able to identify some of the smaller size of the sacrificial pits. As for when and how to excavate these smaller sacrificial pits, we have to make more application to see whether we could conduct the excavation. If there's no more questions, so right now I would like to turn over to Mr. Wang and also the deputy head of the Sichuan Institute of Archaeology to give us a closing remarks. Friends from the media, good morning. And today we have 25 media affiliations, altogether 50 journalists come to the press briefing. So first of all, I would like to thank you for your coverage. And also, I could see you are paying a lot of attention to the archaeological excavation at Sanxingdui site. Also, I understand for some of the media affiliation, they have invested a lot to support the live coverage of today's press briefing. Here, by taking this opportunity, I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to your hard work and your concern on the archaeological excavation at the Sanxingdui site. Second, I would like to give you more details about the work plan. So for the broadcasting will be start from June the 14th. And today is just a press briefing before the special coverage. After the press briefing, we will release a press release to the media affiliation, so you understand what will happen from June the 14th to 16th.